Yeah, it's just. Oh, Wednesday, right? It's just about. Okay.
You all set?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Today is Monday, October 6th, 2025. I'd like to open the regularly scheduled meeting of the Allenstown, New Hampshire Board of Selectmen at 6 P.M. Start with the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Board members present this evening.
Kathleen Kelsey.
You did it all, folks? Remember?
Scott McDonald, also present in the room this evening, John Harrington. David
Jobin, Pembroke Town Administrator.
Armin Burville.
Chad Closio, Road Agent.
Peter DeSantis, EDC. Mike Frasnella, EDC.
Charlie Grotman, DES, Stan Bureau.
Deborah Nowicki, resident.
Anyone online this evening, John? No. All right. We'll go straight to citizens' comments. Any citizens' comments this evening? Mike Trasinella?
Mike Frasnella. We had a good movie night last Saturday night. A little less populated than last year, but everybody said they enjoyed the evening out, the cheap eats, free popcorn, and the free movies. So How to Train Your Dragon. So kids especially like that. The next thing that's happening is we're late starting a spectacular Halloween contest. By tomorrow, I have all the announcements out on the web, and essentially, the people in town who are already decorating their homes with all kinds of creepy, crazy decorations. We want to invite them to join this contest. Our prizes for most creative, spookiest, and best in show. We were giving away with the first, second, third. So we hope to get people who are deserving for because those categories. The usual people who always have a bazillion decorations out there. And the other thing is I was able to defuse a rumor that came up last week about Allenstown aggregate and the property they own, the Floyd Sandy gravel. I talked to Aaron Furman, and he said, "We're not putting 600 homes in. Our plan is eventually to put in something like a supermarket, restaurant, professional office, maybe a couple of apartment buildings." He said it's going to take them a while. He says an estimator told them they would have to remove 1.4 million cubic yards of gravel. That's a future that was looking forward to.
Well, Mike had a question.
Yes.
You're still gonna do the trophies for the EDC?
No, the committee decided they didn't want to do trophies, so we're just going to do gift cards.
Okay.
That's
Some of the folks really like that. I heard one of those rumors as well. That's why I asked.
yeah, so that was a change between several hundred. So let's see what trophy that we just had gift cards, change the categories. So it's more interesting kind of a contest. Guess who's at the very best? We've got three possibilities. Be the best in any of those categories.
Thank you, Mike. Anyone else for citizens' comments? Let the record show that Fire Chief Eric Heimer joined the meeting at 6:04 p.m. Hearing no other citizens' comments, we'll go right to the first agenda item, the dissolution of the Tri-Town Ambulance Agreement. Mr. Joseph, who has kindly joined us this evening.
First, you want to sit here or just stand? Doesn't matter.
Right.
So, am I supposed to sign this, dude?
Yes.
Okay, I brought some other stuff to the chief, but I know she's not here, so I need to put this in.
I got this.
So I've got 3 agreements here. They're all the same language. I think you received it in your packet of information. This is 3 copies. They've already been signed by the Pembroke Board of Selectmen. This is for the dissolution agreement. 1 copy you can keep here. I take 2 back. One of them I have to file with the Attorney General's office. So. And there's also a date here where you can just note that today's date, Emily. That's signed, be great. I also have here with me a copy of the final audit. This is your copy to have. I gave you a breakdown in here also on, and it's right in the same page, on page 4. This is from the auditor. At the end of 24, it said that the town, that Pembroke through the dissolution owed Allenstown $180,029. In March of this year, we paid $162,500 to the town, which then we ended up having a balance to pay off for legal of $73, and the Allenstown's portion, $3,122.50, okay? Which gives you a net amount of $14,333.50. And I have here for you a copy. Here's the final remaining check for the whole thing. Now, respectfully ask all of you to, or somebody to note in the minutes that, we're gonna get them. That as part of dissolution, Allenstown received 1 ambulance outfitted and $427,942.25 in cash. That seems like a large number, but everybody realized, so let's round up the number, say $450,000 each. $600,000 of that was set aside for a new ambulance and equipment. The remaining $250,000 was the town's fund balance policy for the EMS board that we have to keep and retain for offsetting the cost of the increase to both communities, so. I'd like it in the minutes because I'm not a social media person, but there were some very negative comments that were made directed towards Pembroke by a ranking member of the fire department, claiming that Pembroke did not give Allenstown what was owed to them. So I would like that to be placed in the minutes so anybody here that's reading them, and here it was placed in Allenstown's also. So if you can do that, that'd be great.
Thank you, David. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And this is the audit, it's the final audit, and you got the check, you have it, so I just need 2 copies, I moved it forward. So, 2 copies of this solution agreement.
Do we have time? Ready, right?
I own 3 of them, and you keep 1, that way you have a fully executed copy, and I get 2 back, because I got a 1.
You need a second.
All in favor?
Diana, Laura,
It's Scott.
You want to put the date in the bottom, being on.
Guess if you get through your word. Is that about the date? So, 7.
Let's see. $427,942.25.
Good.
You are. All right, thanks a lot.
Excellent.
Have a nice day.
Thank you. Before you go, I know that the whole big solution was a really stressful event on both sides for a lot of people, but I wanted to thank you and Pembroke for all the years that you guys did work with us. I know that you did a great job and it's a wonderful community, so thank you.
You're welcome. Take care.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too.
Next up. Removal of the Hayes Marsh Dam and the state park.
My name is Charlie Crowman, I'm with DES Dam Bureau. The chief of the engineering and construction section, and so we go around rehabbing and sometimes removing state-owned dams. There's 275 state-owned dams in New Hampshire. And I think in the blurb that was included on our website, we've estimated that we need approximately $400 million to rehab these dams to get them up to snuff with dam safety standards. So the past few years, we've been going through our inventory and looking for dams that we could potentially remove to remove the burden of the state. And Hayes Marsh Dam has been identified as a difficult dam for us to maintain. There's a lot of beavers up there that we can't keep up with, and they incessantly and block the drop inlet structure, and so the dam overtops almost annually. So we approached DNCR. So the dam was built by Fish and Game back in 1967, and DNCR owns and maintains and runs Bearbrook State Park. So we approached DNCR last year to see if they potentially wanted the dam, and DNCR does own about 15 or 20 other dams. They understand the difficulties in owning and maintaining dams, so they declined on taking over ownership. So we decided it's in the best interest of the state to remove it. So I'm here today based on RSA 42:13, have to make the town aware of the drawdown because it's an impoundment that's over 10 acres in size. In the spring, we're gonna draw it down, which we'll probably see a reduction in like 5 feet of the water out there. And next summer or fall, we will remove the dam, and it's kind of unclear what the end product is gonna look like. We've contracted a consultant to work on the design of its removal, and I just received some preliminary costs that I shared with DNCR for kind of potential removal ideas. So one of them is just having a hardened crossing out there that people, bikers and horses can walk across but potentially get their feet wet. Another potential alternative is a open bottom culvert. And then another one is a bridge. And so I have those preliminary costs, have to meet with DNCR and our consulting engineer to discuss what path we want to go down.
Which one's the cheapest?
The hardened bottom.
Feeling that's gonna be it.
What body of water does this dam hold back?
Hayes Marsh Dam, it's on Catamount Brook, it's kind of in the upper part of the watershed. The drainage area is about 800 acres. The dam itself is about 10 feet tall and 250 feet long. There's a big wetland downstream of it, so there's tailwater conditions. So it's based on removals we've done in the past. It will look different out there, but we think beavers will still be in the area and they will likely create beaver dams. And there might be somewhat of an impoundment still left out.
Does that ultimately feed into the Sunhook River or,
Yes.
yeah?
Yeah, Catamount Brook goes down under, well, it goes down through the entrance to the park, and then that feeds down into the sun.
Had another dam removed from the Sunhook River a few years ago. They had any idea how that water flows.
I mean, it shouldn't affect water flow at all.
Totally make the water or higher.
It doesn't, yeah, the stand doesn't act as a flood control, it's just, it was built originally for waterfowl management. And we consulted with Fish and Game, and there's plenty of water bodies around the area. Birds won't miss it.
So we don't expect any negative impact.
I mean, ultimately, no, it's within the state park boundaries. Ultimately, it'll go back to its natural state of riverine and wetland complex.
What negative effect will that have on the existing wildlife that lives out there?
Based on I'm not a biologist, but based on discussions with Fish and Game, I think most of the animals accommodate relatively quickly. During the drawdown, Fish and Game provides a recommendation of dropping the water 6 to 12 inches per day so that fish, turtles, and other animals can adapt. And then once it's down, it will return to a natural stream. Does that answer your question?
Is there any alternative, like just filling the dam area with gravel, just letting it accommodate itself to higher water?
Filling the wetland?
Not where the dam is now, instead of a dam, just fill it in with rocks and let's, but that's. Okay.
Like a big weir type of thing. Yeah, ultimately, if we do a hardened crossing, it might be something like that, but it will be a lot lower in elevation. So the natural water level will be lower, but it really depends on the beavers, on if they dam.
Any other questions from this gentleman? Thank you, Jim.
Thank you. Thank you. Coming in.
Thanks.
Thank you.
RFPs for our highway building foundation.
So. Our RFP. Resulted in 0 bids. So that being the issue of the day. After talking to John and Brian a little bit about it, I think our best option moving forward is to hopefully get you guys to waive the RFP process and look for like 3 bids. It might be easier for us to contact directly. Try to get bids in. I mean, we reached out to, or Brian reached out to a number of people just to let them know that the RFP was up. But I think the better way to do it might be just to talk to a few people, and I started reaching out today. We talked to Allentown Aggregate, who built, which is the same company that built their building is building our building. You know, and got their foundation guy, and we'll reach out to a couple more commercial guys around and see what we can find. The problem with the size of the buildings, or with the foundation itself and the size of it is the bigger firms it's not big enough for. The smaller companies that are local to us, it's too big for. So we're kind of stuck in the middle, in middle ground with it. So I think that if we kind of handpick and let those guys know, and try to find those companies that do work in this size, that would be our best option. That being said, I'm kind of looking at you guys to waive that process of the RFP and just let me try to find folks. Yeah, for this portion of it.
Have you reached out to surrounding towns or similar towns to see if they've used foundation people?
So I haven't reached out to any of the surrounding towns. I've started reaching out to people that are building buildings in the same similar size. Most of them are commercial because that's what most of them are. You know, and a couple of the new highway garages that I know that went up recently are not they're all smaller than this. And probably stuff that could be handled by a local guy. So. That's our thought with that, and I think the other thing is that, well, a lot of the contractors. I don't believe a lot of the contractors actually look at our website and they actually look at municipal, or not municipal, but
New Hampshire.
yeah, and. So that's,
up there as well.
yeah,
They're
so,
probably not looking for work either.
right, right. So I think our better chance with this is to actually shop it out. And I mean, we had better luck with the building, I think, because. We kind of reached out to a bunch of people beforehand and inquired about price and just to make sure we're in the ballpark, so they were all kind of on board with. They knew we were going down that road where. The cement guys, I think, are a little bit different. So.
I mean, you've already tried, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I think how many different. ways
Right, I mean, I think
Try.
we put the RFP out and it'd be another month down the road before we get nothing back again, possibly. Or that we put the RFP out and I call these people and say, hey, the RFP is out. And we wait a month, or we can hopefully make this happen a little bit sooner and get some numbers.
I mean, you can still discuss what we put into the RFP.
Oh, yeah, no,
them and-
yeah, I would-
There.
I would send them the RFP.
Yeah.
Because I mean, that's the scope of work we're looking for.
Yeah.
So it's not like I would vary from the RFP, I'm just looking to get out of the process. Of trying to post it again and go down that road and kind of handpick. A couple of contractors that I think this is in good clubs.
We must be pushing the envelope here with time.
We very much are because John found it in the mountain of stuff in the engineering that they will not allow any calcium in the cement. So we're right up against the window here real quick. So it might be, definitely might be a spring project before we're done.
And the calcium in the cement means.
Calcium in the cement, they use calcium in the cement for cold weather. To help it cure. So,
And they still have to seal it, cover it, heat it.
yeah,
We're just
So-
running out of time.
Yeah.
but I think when we talk about maybe just waiting, but I don't think that's the best idea either, because I think that's the same issue in the spring. So I think if we wait, we'll be going down the same road.
Yeah, I think that either way, you're gonna have conversations with these places. And even if you then put out an RFP, you're gonna know based on the conversations,
Right.
what each one of them are gonna come back with, whole opinion. So,
Yeah. So I think,
that's kind of how I see it, and even if you get a bid, qualified bid, even through these conversations. We might be out of time anyway for the spring, but
Sure.
whether we put it out as an RFP, we can get this in the results, just on those one-on-one conversations.
Right, yeah. Yeah, it definitely they didn't fly in. John called me and said he had 10, and then he said, no, I'm lying to you, you have none.
I couldn't.
So,
Alright, I'll make a motion, just make sure I get this, if I get this wrong, just correct me.
okay,
So I make a motion to waive the RFP process for the purpose of obtaining. Estimates for the cement work for the highway shed.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Trish, I.
Kathleen, I.
Diane, aye?
Alright.
Scott, aye.
next thing. The building, it's not on your agenda, I'm just gonna keep adding because it's until I'm done. So,
Same topic.
yeah, the building itself. I understand where we're going, I mean, with where we're at with the building, I think it's our best option right now to take delivery. Of the building today, or as soon as we can. By that point, we want.
Without the foundation.
Yeah, we'll stack it, and just let it wait till spring. I think we're better off doing that because of the cost. I'm afraid with everything happening, I don't know what steel prices will be. So I think if we take possession, lock it in and pay for it, at least we know where we're at.
Like pieces.
It comes in on pallets.
It's a big box.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'd be in your box.
Put it on pallets.
In smaller sections.
Sorry, Trish.
No, in smaller sections, so yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's all coming on pallets instead,
Yeah.
instead on container
And you
pallets.
have a way to store it during the winter.
Yeah, it can set right outside,
Bottle or.
yeah, no,
That foundation.
right, no, it'll come in pieces, it'll be laid out and it needs to be erected, so there won't be anything put together, anything that would be or could be compromised without anything under it. Allenstown Aggregates, again, it's done in the same building, I think the first one was on the ground 3 years before they installed it. The second one, I believe, is on the ground now there, and they haven't even started. So it's one of those things where I just would feel better if we possessed it with the, and paid for it. And got it here. And then we can deal with them as far as scheduling, once we get the foundation in spring.
I'm worried they won't have it in the spring, we can wait.
I'm not really worried about the price.
They don't have the price.
Yeah.
So we don't have.
With what's going on with trade and tariffs and.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
so we don't have a contracted price.
We do, but that doesn't always hold them,
Yeah.
if they have to order the materials later than they anticipated. They could possibly add on additional costs.
yeah, and we saw one small bump already. Right, we voted on that a couple months or a month ago. So I would rather not see another one.
We need a motion or just an impression? This is already purchasing.
You put a motion in to spend, there's $175,000 coming from ARPA funds.
Yeah.
And then the remainder's coming from the capital reserve fund for the new highway. You've already approved it, the purchase of both, this would just be purchasing the building earlier than needed.
Yes.
Or approving the ordering and receiving of the building.
You're confident you can secure that? This equipment is all insured before it's erected?
The materials?
Yes.
I don't know what you mean by insured. I mean, once we have possession of it,
Possession of it.
it's town owned material, so.
Okay. All right, because I know Chad had some issues underneath if somebody takes on vehicles.
Yeah, I don't think this one's, I don't think they'll carry it away. And I think we can tuck it in the back and kind of keep it out of sight, out of mind, throw some tarps over and call it a winter.
Well, you have wireless now too.
We do. Yeah,
If it were included under impairments, it would be considered materials at this time, not a building.
sure.
Potentially.
Materials. So was there a consensus of the board?
Yeah.
Yes.
Alright.
Okay.
Good.
So my last thing was, I'd like to talk about step increases for the highway guys. I kind of fumbled through the budget a little bit. And at the end of September, we are at the highway department. From our default budget is at 49.78% spent. If I take out the reductions from the what was left over in the trash from when we ended and the reduction of the paving lines, we're at 72.8% spent. I was looking for the step increases to go into effect at the last meeting, so September 28th. That pay period. And the impact on the rest of the year for those increases would be a total of $1,869.84 for the highway department employees. It comes out to just over $311 a pay period. And that would move the guys up one step.
This is just straight possible, step increases, no certifications or promotion and stuff.
So I mean, the highway guys, if we wanna delve into it, most of them have increased their certifications as far as their transfer station licenses for that, their DES licenses for them. I think everybody but two,
Just one.
maybe three of the older guys that have been there, that are already maxed out. Have
Yeah.
and those two of those guys. They're maxed out, but all the other guys have increased increase that portion of their certification. Do we ever? I know this question will be next, is do we actually do increases for that? Typically, no, but typically these guys have gotten their step increases yearly up until this point. So it's never been a hot button topic. You know, we have a couple guys that are maxed out. And if
Just
you,
It'll be, right.
yeah, if they took full-time jobs in any other town. We pay them anywhere between a third and half of what we would be paid in that town. So, I mean, a grade 4 operator. The last one I started was in Nashua at, and they were offering $110,000 a year. The certifications are very, you know, in the world of trash, they're very important. Go a long ways. So, that being said, that's kind of where, what I'm looking at. So, adding those raises through if I put the total amount of the raises in my budget at this point today, it would take me from 72.8% spent to 73.09. So it's almost non-existent, but I think going to the highway guys, it'll mean a lot to them,
Agree.
so.
Hope you'll understand equitability to the other departments and that.
And so I
Nothing personal against any of the employees or
Right.
anything like that, it's just what we're at and what we're dealing with for people on this.
Question.
I'm going to recuse myself because the raises are just for my husband's department. I feel that's. I won't recuse, by recusing, it's not just abstaining, it means I won't participate in the conversation.
You made the motion.
Sure, go ahead.
I make a motion that Chad, the highway department, give his guys the step increases. Do we need to name the people or just across the board step increases?
We
As
just
you
need
just
to
described.
describe the departments.
But for the
They
highway,
didn't have everybody here, so.
so we're going across the board, right?
Okay.
So my motion is to allow Chad to give his guys across the board the step increases for doing that. That's part of the yearly increase. Second,
Name, church name.
Diana, Laura,
I thank you.
thank them for the job.
Yes,
Please.
I will. I think that is it. Paving's all wrapped up for the most part. We got a couple final touches. On some of the road edges. We spent the last 3 days practicing and throughout town. That was something we were gonna hire out, but because of the budget restrictions, we decided to do in-house. I don't think we've done practicing ourselves in 10 or 12 years.
You have the equipment to
We
do that?
do, it's antiquated, but it works. So we hauled it out of the back of the barn.
And you have the bricks over.
We already had, we had a pallet of rubber.
Oh, those bricks.
Yeah, already, so we hauled it all out and fired it back up and got it done. So in the last few days, we've done Library Street, Webster's, East Webster, Witten, Reynolds, the new part of Canal Street. We did Theodore and Willow, we did Valley Street, we did Granite Street, we did Lafayette, we did Diane. And then on the other side of town, we did Pine Acres, Summers, Alvin. Part of River Road. We'll have to finish up on River Road and we did Gilbert. So we got probably 3 more days left, then we'll get the better part of the town. So. Other than that, that's where we're at. The Beaver Dam the Beaver Deceiver failed us. They finally kind of got wise to it. So if you go up there, you'll see an addition to the Beaver Dam. So we took the Beaver Deceiver and we stuck a pipe in at the bottom of it. And we ran it out from like 15 feet. We put another one pipe underneath the water, and so far so good. So, but the battle goes on. So after 5 years, they figured it out.
Yeah, it's on the screen, watch your foot.
And like that,
Yeah.
It's the black.
hiding, but other than that, I think we're in good shape.
Thanks,
who's paving?
thanks for did sealing cracks, I know it's pretty warm here.
It is, it's a lot of fun.
Thanks a lot.
It's actually kind of relaxing. I mean, you just try to figure out something.
Sometimes you need those jobs. Well, thank you.
This thing, the state's paving Main Street, so Pike's doing the work for them.
We're very simply the state of, is that what I'm doing?
Yeah, that's the state road. Main Street and School Street are both state roads. Along with 28 and part of Deerfield Road. And they're taking over Railroad.
I don't know unless you want an update, I don't have anything, I was just kind of hanging out, but just a positive for us, the paramedic program was accredited by the National Standard Board. I had a meeting with them last Tuesday. Unbeknownst to me, became the dean of the program. Eric Trotter owns the company, but he's a CEO, but as a sponsor, we had to become the dean of the program. So I will be going on the 14th for the interviews for the inaugural program, and then on the 29th for the orientation. So he is interested again, as I said at the meeting, now that they've been accredited, to taking some rooms at AES when the time comes. So it's just good for us. So it's a positive for the department, a positive for the town. And if you didn't see, we did the inaugural burn at the training grounds. We still have a little bit of work to do, but they have 3 classes total right now. So hopefully get those wrapped up before the winter and take care of that stuff. So, and we're waiting on the roof to get the contract.
Thank you.
Have you guys had much calls for fires?
Right now, there's a statewide burn ban, and yes, a lot of people are not, a lot of them are not paying attention to it. So we've been to, I think yesterday, we did 5 alone, illegal burns. So, and just to let you guys know, the state has a report out on divisions of forest and lands, has now a helicopter from the federal level stationed in Lebanon, because they're worried about the White Mountains and how dry it is, that we're gonna have California-like conditions we do right now, that's what they're worried about. So that's why if you guys see it, make sure you tell us so we can stop it, because I don't want Bearbrook to go up like it did in 1980, so.
Melanie now.
Oh, this one?
AES update? Or excuse me, future town hall update. The key swipe system is complete and activated. I just have to start assigning key cards to the 3 school teachers. The door lock cylinders have been changed out, all but the front door. That one remains until I can get everybody key cards, and then he'll change that out so that the building will be completely keyless once this starts. We will have the master key for the Knox box. For emergency.
They'll do a spot
I have a question on that, because I know that the current database of key swipe card holders, that's overfull at times.
It's a totally separate system from what we have here.
And if you do that, John, just like you want a key card or a fob and a key, both, because it's quicker with the fob first and
Yeah.
to go through.
I have quotes for the upgrades to the fire system and the burglary system, ready for the committee, the transition committee, once I present it to them. If they approve to go forward, you'll have them here, so you can get the final approval to move forward with that. The interior door quotes are being worked on by Peter DeSantos and Brian. They're gonna team up and start getting quotes on those. And then the HVAC system, I met with the contractor last week. He walked the building. He's gonna be giving us a proposal in 2 weeks with suggested ways to move forward with that. Once the committee sees it, you'll again start seeing.
John, is he gonna give us like recommendations and costs for the?
That was my ask of him,
Okay,
yes.
So we put out an RFP.
That one, yeah. But we need something to work on.
Of course, it's fine, obviously.
If you don't mind, I'll move right into my kind of administrative report.
Can I cut you off for a second with AES?
Sure.
I'd like to, the parking that we talked about for the town clerk, I'd like to do that this fall.
Okay,
So there might be a bill or two coming just for asphalt in regards to that and what we might need there.
just if you have a general idea, give it to me so I can present it to the transition committee,
Okay.
have them review it. This is to make some additional parking spots. If you're facing the building, the left-hand side of the big tree in the front, we're gonna carve into that for some head-in parking.
Yeah.
So that eventually the town clerk, which will be at the end of the building,
Yeah.
people can pull right into that and go to the door.
I think we have some time in the fall, so I'd like to do it now as opposed to later, and that'll help Armin with his
Sure.
little building too.
Yes, yeah.
So
The idea is to move the
Real garage.
Rio garage out to the front of the AES from this location.
That's good. You're really doing a move.
He's not waiting.
He doesn't mess around.
He's waited long enough. No, he's not.
I have 2 requests from the board to expend out of the new municipal building capital reserve fund. One is for an RB Lewis, who is our fire system company, for a fire system repair to AES, $2,174. That was part of the upgrades for the annual inspection that had to be done right away. It involved emergency lights, exit signs, things like that. The second invoice from RB Lewis was for installing a cellular communicator for the fire panel. There wasn't one there, so the fire panel was not communicating to anybody. Should there be a pull, because it's occupied, we need to have that up and function. That was for $1,150. So the current balance of the fund is $496,707. So if I could have a motion for that.
I'm really nervous.
Yes,
The first one was $2,174. The second one was $1,150.
so I move that the board authorize payment from our
New municipal
new
building
municipal building
capital reserve.
capital reserve fund. First invoice in the amount of $2,174. That was for emergency lighting. The second invoice is for a new fire panel,
In cellular communicator for the fire.
cellular communicator for the fire panel to the tune of $1,150. Move the board move to authorize. All in favor?
Rich on.
Kathleen, hi.
Diane, right?
Scott.
Thank you. Second request to expend from the highway garage capital reserve fund. An invoice from Constructs for a foundation design. The amount is $5,500. Current capital reserve fund balance as of the end of August is $538,437.
Is anyone else writing?
No, broke the other ones out.
Say it again.
Yeah, it's for constructs.
Constructs, foundation design.
Could I just say so move?
Yeah.
In the amount of $5,500. You can do that.
All right, so moved.
So that would be Kathleen
Second.
and
All in
Josh.
favor?
Trish, I.
Kathleen, I.
Diana,
Laura, I.
Scott. Thank you. So move forward every time.
Memorize all those numbers and spit it off after.
Announcing to the board, I know the board was previously made aware that Brian Arsenault, our current building inspector, has tendered his resignation. He will be ending his employment with the town in 90 days, which brings us to the end of the year. So at this time, since we do have a hiring freeze in place, I would need board permission to post for that job.
Is Brian interested in having a non-public?
He has said if the board is interested in talking with him, he'd be happy to have it.
I would be interested in speaking to him. I just know that we do have concerns either way. With if it's time for him to move on, and I know we have a lot of projects coming up and he is wearing a lot of hats and doing a lot, so I think it would be us doing our due diligence to go through that more. And for the rest of the work, yes.
because I mean, I would think he would rather, he should request it from us,
But I would.
I mean, not
Yeah.
the other way around, I mean. Yes, been here 5 years and typically 5 years is when people move on.
It's true.
That's,
I just wanted to throw it out there.
so we need a motion to accept this resignation.
Yes.
Okay. I'll make the motion to accept Brian Arsenault's resignation as
Building
building
instructor,
inspector,
excuse me, building
building
inspector
inspector, code enforcement,
and.
assistant treasurer and health officer. Effective,
The end of December,
effective
December 25th.
Okay, December 25th.
Second that motion.
Discussion. All in favor?
Trish, I.
Kathleen, I.
Diana,
Laura.
So permission to post the job.
yes,
Yeah.
Need that.
you're gonna post all of the positions, correct?
Building inspector and code enforcement officer. Actual positions, the others,
Oh, okay,
that's the only hired position.
okay,
The other,
but when we fill the health officer, doesn't that get posted, so we just,
it's appointed from within.
okay, so how do we notify people in town that?
You can put a posting up. Sure,
Yeah.
but it wasn't posted prior to.
Right, I think we need to do that
Yeah.
a lot more and get more.
When I did my
Well,
book,
they don't even know.
Has been the same thing like,
You know, so there's that, there's treasurer,
I thought, but I'm like, okay. Well, Brian's the assistant treasurer, right?
right,
Deputy treasurer.
Well, with the next announcement, Jackie Sampson has also tendered her resignation. She'll be leaving by the end of next week. So with that, we will need a treasurer.
And also with her leaving and in light of some past issues that we've had, I think it would be prudent at this time for the board to really look into getting a full-time finance director. I think that it would serve us for a multitude of reasons. I think it's important to have a backup of you, John, so that you can go on vacation and like actually be able to take some time off. I think now that our finances are getting where they should be, we really relied on needed and specialized assistance and help probably if we're gonna maintain our records and I think it's pivotal that we have. And in doing so, I know that within the budget, we have concerns about salaries, we've made changes to the health insurance. I'm wondering if the current assistant position should maybe be part-time, so a full-time finance director and a part-time town admin assistant. And that would help mitigate those costs. That's true.
Yeah, I do think we need to look at that and determine how should we be best moving forward. I think that when we took on MRI to help us, that was really what they goal in mind. And we're that goal, like we're last.
We're where we should be for audit in 2025.
So, And I agree, I think we should look at it and see what are the options, what would work best for Allenstown.
And a full-time finance director, you haven't worked with us with a full-time finance director, so it may sound scary having your admin cut down to half time. But
And actually,
it really
that
works.
position, right,
Yeah.
that position was a multi-purpose.
Mhm.
I have no problem with exploring part-time. That position really got taken over by our family service department. That's been very busy, so much of their time's been taken up doing that job.
And that's another thing too. So years ago, when I first started working for the town, we had a part-time welfare person. She just did 2 days a week, more or less. And I can't remember if it was set up as a salary. Because what happens is in the summer months, welfare is much slower, but there's still educational components that you have to go through. In the winter, as we all know, you get hammered, you end up putting up a lot of hours in. So I don't know if we wanna look at a fluctuating schedule, but over the years, when that person left, welfare was kind of just continually juggled between other positions and jobs and sometimes thrust in people's laps who really didn't want to do welfare. We may have a hard time finding somebody for part-time, but I think it would be worth it to us to advertise and see if there's somebody out there that actually maybe has prior experience doing that, would actually enjoy that job, like it makes a difference, they feel intrinsic value from something like that, as opposed to trying to get one of our employees to wear yet another hat.
Yeah, the difficulty with it, and Jackie can probably attest to it right now, that position has been very heavily, utilized, that there's a lot of people coming through, and it's been summer, so, there's definitely an ebb and flow, it could be a lull this winter, we just don't know when that ebb and flow happens. And the struggle becomes when it's a person wearing multiple hats. Them now having to say, oh, my welfare load is so great now, what am I gonna do with these other hats?
Because welfare's not.
If we can get somebody thinking welfare dedicated, that does make sense. Baseline of, part-time hours with the expectation that if they have a lease less. Client, they have to increase their hours.
I think back in the day, it was maybe Tuesdays and Thursdays that she was coming in. And she was at that point in time, I mean, this is 2012, 2013, she was able to handle the workload, but during the winter season, I think she usually would pick up a third day. Things like for Christmas tree, giving trees, so certain times during the year when she. It worked well at the time, I don't know what years.
What are your thoughts on that? I mean, you're the one that's here all day, every day, and I hate to put more on your plate, but I think you
No,
need to
no,
look at the positions and.
As a follow-up to Trish's comment, it has been unusually busy. Much busier than I anticipated or was told that it had been in the past.
And this is not the only town experience.
Right.
Too.
Right. The only other thing, adding additional people, space in this building while we're still here.
Yeah.
So concerned with, the part-time admin assistant is, welfare family services does need a private area to talk to client. And the only other office right now we have is on that first floor, otherwise I'd have to move them upstairs to the old health officer.
I'll tell you, that is how she did it, and I know it kind of stinks because this is open. But what she would do was her office was upstairs, but she had a laptop.
And
She
me
would do
too.
her meetings down here.
That's-
She was able to work
Yeah.
there and just, but it is,
Yeah,
That-
that's not.
it stinks because when you
Yeah,
close those doors,
Confidentiality.
yeah, you can still hear through that back. So,
Jackie will try to use this room when she can. Obviously, sometimes it's multiple people and that's a small office. But let me look at it and put a proposal together and bring it back to you.
Yeah.
As some alternatives of what we can look at. Nothing needs to be done immediately.
Okay.
My primary concern is the treasurer position. Jackie leaves next week. We do have Brian as the deputy treasurer, because you have to go through quite a bit of documentation to the banks to be able to do this. But priority would be having another full-time treasurer, taking the position.
Absolutely.
Preferably not an employee.
Yes,
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
And you might even wanna reach back out to Carolyn Anderson, she may be available. And we're going back to the welfare administrator, the room that she meets with her clients in doesn't necessarily have to be in town hall either. Like if the police department had a room available, or the fire department had a room available, that could work just for scheduled meetings, so just to throw that.
I would throw caution out to using the police department. People who be it to
Need, yeah.
services do not want to be seen going in and out of a police department. It's highly. They're already in such a state that now they're like, oh my gosh, what if my neighbor sees me going to the police department here? Everybody in town has to come here, so they really don't
Yeah.
know why somebody's coming in and out of it.
That's a good point.
And that does tie into the confidentiality piece of it. There's quite a few cases on the books with regards to confidentiality and towns having gotten in trouble with.
Yeah.
So it is something that should be really confidential,
So, what I will have for next meeting is a proposal for the building inspector. Full-time, finance director. And admin assistant. Right now, I will post for a health officer and a treasurer to get that going.
So John, a little more discussion on building inspector code enforcement, so that position had. Whatever the hours were.
35 hours by
Right, and then-
contract.
Okay, but prior to that, wasn't it less hours, and then when Hillsbrook and the mill were going on at the same time as the school, hours were increased?
That's what I was
That's-
told again
that's what-
before.
That's my understanding too, those projects are well over.
But we have a lot of. Brian was gonna be instrumental in the highway garage, we're redoing the model at the school, we've got the McDonald's coming in. Then depending on what happens with floor development, I mean, and what else am I missing?
Hillsbrook is trying.
Hillsbrook is gonna expand, we still have a lot of building coming our way. So to me, I feel like we probably still need somebody full-time, maybe not, and we can certainly explore cutting it, I just know we have a lot on the horizon. If we didn't, I would agree, but, or maybe this time when we hire. To have it, if it's gonna be full-time until these projects are wrapped up and with the understanding we're gonna revisit it at that point in time.
Or start part-time and then with the possibility of increase.
that.
Yeah, I mean, it's what, you know, I mean, I think that's a little ways off, they've got to mine a lot of property. Hillsbrook, I think they said it was 2 years out, I believe. I think it's not like right away. You know, the school, I mean, Peter's helping out here to make phone calls and line up work. Just not convinced it's a full-time job. I'm just not.
So the only scary part for me is that I can do what Brian was gonna do at the highway department. But that means half the other projects stop. So we're gonna do that at the expense of road work. That's the only issue I have, but if we have a guy that's part-time and can do it, then,
Right, I mean,
and if that's his own,
if you have to push your work off till spring, right, before the building goes up,
right?
then we go part-time as long as we can and then figure out what to do. I mean, in the meantime, we're saving money and benefits, right, if the person's full-time.
Well, I guess you can kind of do it like the welfare one too, right? You're gonna have them be part-time and then they can potentially have another day that you need to come in when it's busy.
Yeah,
We do the same kind of model.
If we do that, I have to budget for the maximum hours used.
yeah, sure, yeah.
So in other words, if you're going from 15 to 30, I have to budget for 30 to make sure there's funding for 30.
I mean, what are your thoughts? What do you think what we should do is?
I would like to take some time and put a couple of proposals together, both part-time and a full-time, what that looks like.
Yeah.
Take a look at the funding with the budget we have. I usually plan for worst case scenario and hope for the best.
Yes.
But budget season is a long way off. So we don't know what we're gonna get.
But I'll have those ready for you next meeting. In the meantime, post for treasurer and health officer. See what we can get. And of course, if any of you know of anybody interested locally, it would be helpful, send them my way.
I'll put a word out through the welfare ley lines, see if anybody is looking. You know, some people do more than one town, you know, maybe an option to.
Okay,
Some people retire, but they want to do part.
Yeah.
and one more item this evening. The SAU requested the board to consider whether or not the rental for the monthly use of the building for the preschool would be remaining the same, or is there an increase? They're starting their budget work for next year.
Have you had a chance to look at the numbers? No.
I would only be looking at the fuel usage, electrical usage based on 2024. And we have looked at that before, and I believe in the transition committee, it was determined that their yearly rent of 30,000 would cover a good portion of that. But it's hard to determine buildings that empty what the final electrical usage would look like. The only other option is to look at current rental for that kind of space. And I could bring a remote version on that and be able to compare that and give you some idea.
Yeah.
But that type of usage and that type of building and that square footage, what would be? Okay,
I'm good with that, but again, I wanna stress, I know we wanna bring in revenues and rent to hopefully have a profit to offset the tax costs. In this instance, with the SAU, the town does get a great benefit to keep our students here local, so
Yes.
I'm not concerned with making any profit off it. My
Yeah.
concern is that they are truly footing their bill. I also rely on town taxpayers subsidizing them. So I'm looking to walk that way.
I'll see what I can come up with for the next meeting, give you guidelines.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And that's it for me this evening, thank you.
Thank you, John. Other business. Any board members have any other business to discuss?
You have the other ones, right? We've got.
Not finished. Did you take this off, the investment and cash management policy, and then there was also the ethics policy. Yes, right,
They're in there.
because I have some feedback on the.
On the, they were, so those were existing documents, I just flopped them on, I read them, so.
This one was brand new, from late this afternoon.
What's in your signature folder is a 2-year contract from Spray Natural Gas. Our current contract, which I believe is for 4 years, is running out at the end of this year. We're trying to get set up for 26 to 27. That's what this is, because energy costs fluctuate so quickly. I had him wait until the very last minute to send us the agreement so you could approve it. It still has to be approved in the morning electronically, which will be the ultimate walk-in price depending on the market.
They're only doing contracts 2 years now, but 4.
This is the best price we could get. Going out, it becomes more volatile, more expensive.
I know when they came in a few years ago, they brought in that rate then.
I believe it's 0.798.
It's about 80 cents a there.
I have natural gas myself, so I really can help me compare to.
So if you're looking for approval, for the chair to sign that and also approval from the board to allow me to sign electronically the agreement tomorrow.
Is the rate changing with this new contract?
I don't believe so. He was able to find out nothing very close. Kathleen, could you check the dates? I know it's a 2-year, I mean, I use,
So 12/1/25 to 11/30/27.
there you go, thank you.
And it's pretty much
That's
yeah,
natural
80
gas.
cents.
National gas, yeah. Yeah, propane, but.
For comparison, and of course, we buy a lot of it, so we're gonna get a better price.
Yeah.
The third's got 100,000 BTU. Oil, number two oil's got 134,000 per gallon, and I think propane has 84,000 BTU. Somewhere. Just for.
You didn't have a pretty big utility. We don't have in town, there's a business.
Not that area.
I'm just thinking of them because there was a larger company, maybe they're doing sort of.
I'm posting it online. I'm seeing it from that.
No.
Need a motion to approve the natural gas retail sales agreement between the town of Allenstown and Strag Operating Resources for the amount of 0.7986 per therm. Effective December 1st, 2025 to November 30th, 2027.
Second,
All in favor?
Tricia.
Kathleen, I.
Diane,
Scott.
We'll find the signature.
Tomorrow.
If the board could approve me to sign it electronically. Because it'll be sent to my email.
So moved.
There you go.
Thank you.
We'll add that.
And the second goes along with that. Diane moved the
oh,
second.
yes, yeah, second, yeah.
All in favor?
Tricia.
Kathleen, I.
Diane, alright.
Scott, sorry. The next one is from Geotechnical Services. They're gonna be provided, construction materials testing as the garage is going up, Chad. Okay.
Plans call for 3 sets of testing as they build the foundation. They're testing in between to make sure that the foundation is fast.
You get the proper compaction and all of that, so.
I think we've had this conversation already, because maybe it was for a different project, but I feel like we talked about that really they're one of maybe 2 or 3 in the state who do this.
Yeah, there's not many, and they were part of the group that came out and actually dealt with us a little bit about what's in the ground and.
Yeah.
Or they were this, yeah,
And the testing is required. So-
well, it's not required, I guess. But if the fire department was tested, maybe the backside of that building wouldn't be falling off. If Pembroke's was tested, maybe their last bay in their shop wouldn't be falling off. So I prefer not to do any of that.
Yeah.
I prefer it to stay up. So I think having them test is especially with an old landfill, or we're in the old landfill, it's the area. I have concerns about compaction. And then below it, we've hit virgin ground in that hole. But below it is all sand. I mean, we've dug 2 holes or 3 holes, they're like 14 feet deep and it's just sand. So it's not the best material to throw something on. It'd be great if we could mine it, but then we'd have a big crater. So I just wanna make sure that the material goes in properly and it's compacted properly and we get the compaction rate we need.
Yep.
So.
Move that the board approve this contract with geotechnical services to provide construction testing at our new town garage. Rates to be construction monitoring services. Field technician will be $175.50, right, $175 for a half day, $320 for a full day. Laboratory testing services, sieve analysis, whatever a proctor test is, and concrete cylinder compression. To the tune of $95 each for sieve analysis, $135 each for proctor testing, $25 each for concrete cylinder compression.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Sharon,
Catherine, I.
Diane, Laura.
Scott, aye.
I'm sorry, what did you say? The name. Signature.
Yes.
The next document is a document from Jackie Sampson. Something that she learned during her recent financial training for treasurers is that we needed an updated delegation of authority, which we did not have. So this document represents the functions for the finance clerk in the finance department and also the director. And it outlines the duties she is assigning. And it is the board of selectmen are approving her delegation of those duties. And after you sign it, she will sign it. This is to be effective as September 25th.
And then when our new treasurer comes in, we'll have everything to do this.
John, did that come up with the template that was provided in the training? Is that a suggested format?
Yes,
It is.
I'm pretty sure it is. I have all those templates. I actually took the training as well. Like, I was thinking.
I just
I was thinking tiny, I should be on this.
Yeah, you sent it to me, you know.
Yeah.
I'm working right now on zoning board, planning board procedures and all those forms.
That's where she got.
So I guess I should read this. I just looking at it, I'm really. Town of Allen's town delegation of authority, and purpose. Pursuant to the powers vested in me as town treasurer of the town of Allenstown, I hereby delegate certain responsibilities to the individuals named below. This delegation is made to ensure uninterrupted financial operations, internal controls, and adherence to town policies. See relevant excerpts below per RSA 41:29, part 6. And then it quotes that RSA. Has everyone seen this? Kathy, we did. Second one is.
They're shared with.
That's the purchase order for being, it's over 5,000, so you always have to sign. That just needs to be passed around the sign.
Okay. Just I thought.
Yeah, we're good to sign that right before I pass it back.
I think so.
The delegation, yeah. Authority.
Do you need the? We need to take a motion on that? Jackie?
Yes, you do.
On Jackie's proposal, we were gonna-
Motion and.
Oh, we
second.
need a motion.
Yeah.
I make a motion that the board of selectmen sign the town of Allenstown delegation of authority for town treasurer. Treasurer may delegate deposit, investment, record keeping, or reconciliation functions to other town officials.
It's
But it basically,
September 25th.
yes, delegation is effective September 25th, 2025, and shall remain in force until further notice, unless revoked, altered, or suspended in writing by the town treasurer.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to,
All in favor, I'm sorry.
all fantastic. Diane,
Right.
Scott. All right, I'm sorry, I was looking at these state forms from the Department of Revenue Administration. One is an MS 434 and it's an estimated revenues. That we send annually to the big.
There are two revenue reports. We initially do an anticipated revenue where you're budgeting out what you think you're gonna collect. Then partially through the year, the DRA will send out another request for estimates. Do you want to change anything based on what you initially estimated? That way you look at you above or below what your estimates are, you can adjust, and that's what this is.
I did have a question. Because it's got, of course, the preparer's certification. Well, it's got the e-file certification for the 535, which has GRAS. Or GRA. And on 434. It has my name.
That's who's approving it. Kyle Gingras prepared the 535. In this case, that is reviewed by me with the finance director to make any adjustments. But it's actually being submitted on behalf of the town by you or the board.
But I'm the one who goes to jail.
I had to pick someone.
Thank you, Scott. I'll send it cake.
Well.
With a pie on it.
I move that the town approve the MS 434. Revised estimated revenues with Department of Revenue Administration. Looks like this is it.
I looked at it.
Well, there's,
I don't know that it's a solid amount because it's just.
Yeah. That's what I was wondering.
yes, I think. Well,
Basic some categories went slightly up, some went down.
total revenues credits here, $4,440,927.
This is all taking steps towards setting that. Yeah.
And I'll second that.
All in favor?
Shoshana.
Kathleen,
Diane,
Laura,
do you
Scott.
want to look at it, or do you want, I did, I looked at it in detail, don't we have to sign it though?
no, just Scott, that's why he was very worried. Making him sweat.
Bring it around.
The next, you just explained this one.
The MS 535 is the actual expenditures.
And revenues for 2024.
You see this too?
I hadn't looked at it, yes.
Oh, okay, if you just want to look at the bottom numbers there.
That was in your weekend.
Yeah.
You want me to make a motion, is that what you asked me?
You know, go ahead.
Yes, yeah. It is overall signing. I make a motion that the board accept and sign the MS 535, the 2025 MS 535 financial report of the budget for the period ending December 31st, 2024.
Second.
All in favor?
Tricia.
Kathleen, I.
Diane,
Laura.
Scott. Okay, the next is the investment and cash management policy. Diane, did you work on this?
what I did was I took what John sent me and I put it on our format. I didn't like reword anything or so if that needs work, that's separate from what I just plop it on it because
And
the.
this original request came from the auditors that we need to have one and it needs to be reviewed every year.
Yeah.
We didn't have. So this was created.
Is this the one you had first about this?
You know, some of the things are just like a matter of fonts and spacing, but under page 9. Under 8.7, which is right above 8.8, actually, the last paragraph there, said the town council reserves the right to implement changes. I believe that should be the select board has reserves the right to implement changes to the policy. I'm not going to find something that's not correct. And then, page 10, there's a number 3 and then a number 4. So the number 3 says the award of investment will be determined as follows, and then there's a blank number 4 with A under it.
Oh, okay, that's probably what I
Things like
pulled it
that.
over, I guess.
You know, but a lot of it was just like font stuff, formatting, here's this section that indicates that this chapter is continued, but it's in the middle of the page. I think it originally meant to be the beginning of the page.
Oh, that had a lot of
Like the wrapping around the
Spike
things.
and,
There were
RSA's
just
that were-
things that were, you know, in my estimation, not correct. As far as our.
And that was the reference to the town council.
Yeah. And then the 3 and 4 can make it look like there's something missing there.
Because we don't have a town council, cities do, we're a board of selectmen, changing that, anybody reading and understands.
Yeah, and there are some technicalities of this should stay on those, on the name of your board and your council and all of that, so. It should.
I'll change it, that was a trial.
We are.
So once those edits are made, I'll bring it back to the next meeting for signature.
Was that urgent, did they wanted to see that signed, or it's like next time they
No.
come?
We just need to have it in place. We've got time.
So,
But we didn't, I'm sorry, but you couldn't find it any, because we had this, we had
Yeah.
a spending cash, yeah.
We did.
I will look at that.
I'm not surprised.
it was a
Blow it out one now.
15 or something,
Yeah.
right? It was. Like, oh.
The last time I think that we redid it was 2013, I want to say it was when, so it was even older than 16 that we did, it would need to be updated at this point, I'm sure, but I know, we did have,
That's good to know.
yeah.
But you did make the point, John, there are some things in here that we should be doing. There's 1 or 2 things that are an annual thing as a board that we should be doing.
That should be reviewed in, and in the new form, and in the new format that I put that in, those reviews can be cataloged.
Right, in the-
So that any auditor looking at our current policy will see it's been looked at, yeah.
Good job, Judy.
So if you wanna somehow share your
Yeah.
edits with Diane and.
You'll see some of it is just indicating where.
Yeah, and like you said, pasted section by section, because I didn't wanna.
Yeah.
Change any of the, intent or anything like that.
So I'll bring it back at the next meeting.
It's in,
All right,
oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, he didn't pour it over very clean, I had to
The other town document.
Gotta fight with it.
Yeah, I know those things are not easy to transpose into different fonts and so forth.
The other document that I have here is the code of ethics being down in Allenstown. Questions, comments, recommendations on.
That's exactly the same, you're just putting it on the new,
Same thing,
yeah, same format.
yep.
I'm good with it.
I move that the town approve code of ethics for the town of Allenstown, this town document. POL-BOS-03,
I'll second.
all in favor,
Tricia.
Kathleen, I.
Very nice.
Laura.
Scott. All right, the last two are minutes. First game's non-public, comes at 17. Have any, there's really not much to it. But do you have any questions, comments, recommendations? Get the board with the non-public meeting minutes of 6 September 17th, 2025.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Tricia.
Kathleen, I.
Diane,
Laura.
Scott. The last one I got. Yeah. Public minutes of the September 22nd, 2025 meeting. Recommendation.
Please have a comment, so. This covers the discussion about previous meeting minutes, where we had made a correction to the conversation on the sewer department's bond. And at that time, AES was there, and it really shouldn't have been there, it wasn't about AES at all. So now this states, Ms. Crusoe made a motion to approve the minutes of September 8, 2025, with a note to add the word bond, but it really should have been replace AES with the word bond. So hopefully that got done correctly on this one, because that was, we signed off on that, with the notes at the bottom of what should be changed. But I was not asking for it to add the word of that.
Do you want to make a correction to those minutes as well? Then when it comes around, that will speak. Any corrections that are made here in the board meeting, I make those corrections before the notes. So if you go back and look, you'll see it. I don't erase the old language, I just lined through it.
Did you make a motion on
Is it? We pass something.
The 22nd, no, there's
Is it non-public?
We did the non-public,
I'm talking about the 22nd.
Oh,
That Trish was just talking about.
All right, no, I haven't had much. So I'll move that the town approve the September 22nd, 2025 meeting minutes
With corrections,
with
as amended.
correct as amended. Okay,
second one?
all in favor?
Tricia.
Kathleen, I.
Diane,
Laura.
Scott.
At the bottom.
Because
one
I'm
reading.
did you see any reservation? They accept that. We don't have to.
You know, you do the.
Oh, we do. Okay,
We talked about it, but
yeah,
there was no vote. While you all are signing that, on the portion where I mentioned that Jackie Sampson has tendered her resignation, the board would need to accept that.
I'll make a motion to accept the resignation of Jackie
Sampson,
Sampson.
second,
All in favor?
Krishan.
Kathleen, I.
Diane, I, all right.
Scott.
What's the last day gonna be? Too many Jackies.
her last day would be next Thursday, but she's taking vote 2 days prior to that personal time. So it's Tuesday. So it'll be Tuesday.
The minutes, not public.
Well,
This
these ones,
time here, there was no.
there was no amendment, yeah.
It's not that, I don't
Yeah,
know.
sign it on here.
That's no different than that. Signed, that there's an amendment in that.
Just fix
Not tonight.
Sign away.
You know.
it. Yeah, just, we didn't make any amendments, and we spent. Oh, Trish.
Trish, while they're finishing signing,
So,
do you wanna do the consent? You've kind of already done the minutes.
yeah. I'll make a motion to ratify the consent calendar of October 6, 2025.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Trish, I.
Kathleen, I. You.
Diane, the consent calendar, there's been a motion and a second, it's up to you.
We both voted aye.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't paying.
Quite all right.
Alright.
Scott.
We don't fix it. I'll make a motion to approve the check manifest dash number 169 and 170.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Tricia,
Kathleen, I.
Diane, I.
Laura,
Scott.
and I'll make a motion to approve the town payroll manifest of October 2nd, 2025.
And I'll second that.
All in favor?
Tricia,
Kathleen, I. Diane, I.
Laura,
Scott. Any non-publics this evening? No. Any other business before the board this evening? Hearing none. Someone wanna make a motion to
Motion to adjourn.
second,
all in favor?
Kathleen, I.
At 7:32. Who's the second, please? Thank you.
Diane, I. Laura, I.
Before we go, did you folks see about the school care or something? Did you see that in the
Yes.
paper?
Yeah.
I only saw one article, actually, there was two, I think.